It's time for another round of tweets from the VP of PR and Marketing at Bethesda. Hey Vault Dwellers, JV here, and today we're discussing boss enemies in Fallout 76. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more Fallout 76 videos just like this. Before we hop in, all of the gameplay you see in this video is from Camelworks. Big thanks to him for going to that event and allowing me to use his gameplay footage. Link to his channel and all of his content is in the description below. You guys know the drill. We're looking at Pete Hines' tweets, which give us both new insights and clarifications on parts of the game that we already knew about. These should be a little more entertaining now since we have some relevant gameplay, but I'm just so ready for the beta so we can stop doing these Twitter-related videos. So let's start with the new info. Finns asks if there are difficulty settings in the game, and Pete says no. Very simply, the answer is no, and this is interesting because a lot of the people who have played the game so far have said that it was a bit easy, and they were able to go in as like a level 4 or level 5 with a group and take down level 22 enemies, which is very bizarre to me. It seems like the difficulty, the numbers, the amount of damage you deal is very different compared to what it was in Fallout 4. We do know that the zones in the game are divided by level. So if you go into Cranberry Bog, for example, you're going to run into level 50 enemies. That's just an example. And it doesn't matter if you're level 4 or not. But I also think they have this weird rubber banding concept where they want you to be able to fight enemies no matter what. So we're going to have to see how that works in the game. Charlie says, I saw a creator respawn really close to a player that killed him. Earlier this year, I heard you can respawn anywhere for a fee. Can you clarify? And Pete said he or she must have chosen to respawn nearby. You have control over where you respawn still. More than likely, this is a reference to Juicehead and Maddie's gameplay where they quite literally did kill each other and then respawn very, very close nearby. And what Pete is essentially saying is we didn't get to see it in the gameplay, but they did choose that. So maybe if you click revenge, it's going to respawn you very close, and that's just how the revenge system works. Alternatively, if you got killed and you didn't want to, or maybe you got in PvP and decided to change your mind and you don't want revenge, you can choose a location on the map, and that'll of course cost you a fee to respawn at a different location. Saldrin asks if your stash is linked to only one user's character, or is it shared between characters? And Pete says each character's stash is separate. You don't trade in-game items between your characters. So this is an important detail, so let's talk about it. If I am rolling a character and they're level 50 and I get a really cool pistol and I decide on my second character that they're going to be a pistol-based character, on my level 50 character, it doesn't matter. I can't share that with my other character. There's no like locker or something you can throw it in and then transfer between accounts. So there's no such thing as an account-specific item. It's not like an MMO or, you know, one of those games. There's not a vault like there is in Destiny. What you get on that character is only exclusive to that character. Since weapons, armor, and perks all have level requirements, I don't know why you'd want to do this. Maybe there are some rare resources that you could just, you know, pop over to your next character. But for example, I wouldn't be able to take a higher level character and then go get something really overpowered and just dump it off to my other character. That's not possible, but also it just wouldn't help you because there are level requirements. Doctor asks, what are the crown enemies officially called? Me and my friends have called them Dons. Pete says, I don't know if they have an official name, but we refer to them as bosses. So if you watched a lot of gameplay, you'll see that there are enemies with crowns around their nameplates and or their level. And this kind of designates an enemy that isn't stronger than the rest, but they drop a lot of loot. So it's almost like a goblin in Diablo. It's just an enemy that you want to go after, that if you kill them, you're going to get something good from them. Now, this brings up the question, are there legendary enemies in this game? As we know in Fallout 4, those were random enemies that we could, you know, come across. They mutate, they become more difficult. They're a bit of a challenge when you came across them. I've heard some rumors that there are some legendaries at higher levels, but I haven't seen any gameplay of them yet. Mr. Average says, if I'm level 50 and I use all my special points and I'm not happy with them, can I respec them, or would I have to make a whole new character? Pete says you cannot respec your specials. This is something that we've covered in the past from a Pete Hines tweet. He said he didn't know, but now he says, you know, confirms you cannot respec your special points. This has a lot of implications for me, at least as a character builder, someone who likes to pre-plan what they're going to do with their playthrough. This means that I will be putting a lot more time into planning what my character is going to do in terms of special points. We know that you start with 1 in every category. We know that you get 1 special level up point up until level 50. So that means at the very end, when it's all said and done, you're going to have 57 points across the 7 categories. We know that the limit for a special category has been increased to 15. So if you want to push something traveling that far, you totally can. But if you wanted an even distribution between your special categories, you could do something like 8 in strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, and agility, and then 9 in luck. So you have a very kind of even spread in that way, but those seem like really high numbers. So I think the general idea is that you're going to be very powerful when you're at level 50. Once you've allocated all of those special points, 8 and 9 is really high for a single category. Now, there are going to be a lot of min-maxers out there, and I understand that. I think when I start the game, I'm going to be very even keel on my first character just to kind of get, my feet underneath me and understand all these systems. I'm just worried about those higher tier perk cards that are going to cost more and how much I'm going to want to invest in certain categories for those perks. The fact that you cannot respec your special adds a bit of permanence to your character, regardless if you can swap perks or not. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Fires asks what atoms do. Pete says it's what you get to spend on cosmetic items in the atomic shop, outfits and skins and stuff like that. This is kind of more of a clarification, but I finally found the name for the microtransaction shop. It's going to be the Atomic Shop, which I actually like. We've seen atoms blow up on people's screens constantly throughout the Greenbrier event gameplay, and so it seems like this is something you're going to get a ton at the beginning, and then I believe from an interview on another creator's video, I heard that that kind of ramps down, because in the beginning you are getting a bunch of challenges that are very easy. Those are going to be harder to get, so atoms will come a little less frequently. Atoms will come from certain event quests and dailies and weeklies and stuff like that. I'm really interested to see what their concept is for the Atomic Shop. Is it more like a creation club? Is it more like, here's just some cosmetics that you may or may not want, but you don't really care that much? Godless asks, if a party member runs off and completes a quest by themselves, will I not be able to pick it up and do it later? Or are they character player specific? Pete says quests are player specific. So what does this mean? Let's say you and a buddy are going on a quest to kill 25 ghouls. Because this quest is player specific, let's say that your buddy solos 5 of them and completes the quest. He killed 25, but you still have 5 left. You guys team shotted 20 of them, but he soloed 5 of them. That means you're still gonna have to kill 5 ghouls. And so that's how this scenario is going to work. I think if there's something like an object you need to touch, everyone's going to have to do that. If you need to read a note, everyone's going to have to do that. If you have to open a door, obviously that's like a world thing. That's like a server thing. So that door is going to open. Everyone's going to see that. But in terms of quest objectives, everyone's going to have to do everything to get the credit. That's it for the new information. Let's look at some clarification tweets. Carlos is worried about griefers. He doesn't think he'll get away unless he logs out and back in. Will he be able to block people? Will it transfer him to another server? Pete says you can block them. It mutes them. They can't see you on the map at all, but it doesn't transfer you to another version of the game. So that's not what blocking does. Blocking is a server block. You're on that same server. You block them. It prevents them from interacting with you, and they can't see you, but they could still theoretically find you. The next question is from Armistez, and I actually met this person, funny enough, at the Bethesda event at PAX West. So hello, sir. It was nice to meet you. He says someone has a bounty and they block someone. Can the person they block still see them on the map? Pete says, I don't know for certain, but talking to devs, having a bounty supersedes all other flags. So you can't get a bounty and then try blocking everyone in the game with you to avoid them. You're flagged to everyone as a murderer. That would be my guess. I wouldn't call this 100% confirmation because Pete says, I don't know, and says he's guessing. But if the bounty does supersede other flags, then that is the one thing that matters. It's, do you have a bounty or do you not? And then you go to the next phase of, did you block someone or did you not? So for example, if I block somebody and then I get a bounty, according to what Pete says here, that block is basically nullified. It doesn't matter that I block them. I've got a bounty, so people can see me. I think a lot of people were worried, what if the wanted murderer blocks everyone on the map? Would they suddenly be invisible to everyone? And I think the answer here is no. It's going to supersede all of those blocks. Catalyst asks about fast travel. Can you fast travel when in combat with NPCs as well as other players? Pete says you can fast travel when you're being attacked by someone you don't want to engage with. For example, they're trying to murder you. Once you've willingly engaged in PvP, the other player is now treated like any other enemy, and you can't fast travel when there are enemies nearby. Let's run through some scenarios. Say someone shoots me, and I don't want to get shot. I can fast travel out because that person's not officially an enemy yet. Scenario 2, let's say someone shoots me and I shoot back. If I start losing that fight, I can't fast travel out because they are now classified as an enemy, and you can't fast travel when enemies are nearby. Scenario 3, let's say I'm fighting some NPCs and I start losing that fight and I want to get out. I've got to run away and then fast travel out. I can't just pull out my Pip-Boy and fast travel because, again, enemies are nearby. So I don't think we have to worry about people teleporting out of fights, PvP fights that they're losing, because they won't be able to. That's all we have today. I'm going to try and be creative next week for content, but as I've explained, it's a little rough not having hands-on experience. I'm going to try to cobble together some info from all of the sources that we've learned from the gameplay and the event moving forward until the beta comes out on the 23rd. In the comment section, tell me if you wish you could respec in this game. Share your thoughts below. If you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe and hit the bell for more Fallout 76 content, like my last video where we discuss whether 76 looks boring. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.